Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sinnis Terrain 125. But before we do, roll the credits. Okay, Sinnis Terrain. What can I say? I believe they're a British company. They use Chinese manufacturers to create all their bikes. Don't be put off by that. You know, Chinese market has really caught up over the last few years. The likes of Suzuki, Yamaha, Harley Davidson, they all manufacture their bikes in China. BMW is another manufacturer. So the quality and the construction has really been lifted up over the last few years to meet the standards of these companies. The Sinnis Terrain, who's this bike aimed at? Obviously being a 125, people on CBT, younger users, and I suppose there's also a niche market for commuting in the cities and towns. Anything more than that, then any 125 really, you're going to struggle for power. You know, going on motorways, major trunk roads, dual carriageways, your 125s don't really have the power to do that for any length of time and safely. So I'm not slagging 125s off for the power, because that's the nature of the beast. Right on cue, here is Noah the cat. Hello. Yeah, so we'll talk our way through this bike and we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. Okay, let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Tyres. Tyres are a company called, I think, CST. I've never heard of them. However, the tyres that came stock on this bike were fine. At the end of the day, it hasn't got enough power to over-demand any maker tyre, I wouldn't think. So the tyres are great. The only thing I would say about the tyres is that the rear tyre wears very quickly. However, like I say, there's a big choice of tyres for this bike. You can use Michelin's, Avon, whatever brand you want. There's plenty of choice out there. So tyres, no problems on this bike. Suspension. The suspension on this bike is really soft, really plush. It just soaks up all the bumps on the road, gives you a really comfortable ride. Again, it's fine through the twisties. Again, being a 125, there's not that much power there to really overwhelm the suspension, so you can manage with the soft suspension. The only time that I've ever noted that the suspension did become a little bit out of shape, you know, if you're top end on this bike, which is about 60 miles an hour, if you're going into long sweepers or bends and you hit anything on the road, it can become a little bit unsettled. But to be honest, that's very rare. You get the opportunity to ride the bike into bends at that speed. The thing with the power on a small road, a country road, you know, a small A road, small B road, where it's sheltered, it's flat. Yes, you can get up to the 60 mile an hour on this bike. However, if there's an incline, if you're on an open road with a strong headwind, you know, you can be down to as little as 45-50 mile an hour on this bike. So suspension wise, you know, the setup can be nice and soft, and you're never really going to overwhelm the suspension on this bike, but it is really nice to ride. The seat is a very firm seat. However, it is very comfortable. I would say it's on the same stiffness as the Suzuki 250 V-Strom that we have. However, that seat is absolute torture just because of the shape of it. This seat, you know, the longest I've spent on this bike is about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and I had absolutely no problem at all comfort wise. The sitting position on this bike is absolutely excellent. It's one of the most comfortable seating positions on any bike I've ever come across. It's really nice. The handlebars are just the right height, they're just the right width, your legs are just the right angle. You know, if they made a bigger version of this bike, a 600, for the price that Sinnis put bikes out, I would be very tempted to look at that type of bike. However, they don't. So. What else can I say? Engine wise, the engine is based on a Suzuki model engine. It's been reliable up to yet. The only problem I've had with this engine, which was my own fault, when I bought the bike, I bought it second hand and the service schedule hadn't been kept up to date. so it had never had the valve clearances done, which caused the bike to cut out when it was cold. When you come to a junction, the first 5 minutes you rode it, it would stall and it was difficult to restart. However, got the bike serviced, had the valve clearances done, no problems with the engine whatsoever. It's been a really reliable bike over the 3 years that we've owned this bike. There is a little buzziness through the pegs at higher revs and through the handlebars, however it's very minimal. Don't let that put you off at all. It's not uncomfortable. Nothing through the seat, it's all through the pegs and the handlebars, but honestly it is absolutely minimal, the vibration that you get. The mirrors are fine. You do have to make sure that you lock them down really tight because they can work loose if you don't, but all I do is a little bit of Loctite in there, lock them down to the position you want, and once you've done that they're fine, they don't move at all. You get a good view from the back of the bike, no problems whatsoever. Headlights like most modern bikes, it's not very good. Easily sorted out by buying a cheap pair of spotlights, wiring them through the switch onto your battery. Not a problem whatsoever once you've got the spotlights on, so yeah, not a problem there. Looking back on the bike, the exhaust is overswept. Nice exhaust note. I can't start the bike up because the bike's in storage at the moment and there's no battery on the bike, so I can't give you an exhaust note, but it's nice. It doesn't sound tinny, it's nice and raspy. Comes standard with a centre stand, you know, which again most bikes don't. The crash bars are standard, and also the little panniers and top box. Now, you know, people slag these off, say they're plasticky, they're like lunch boxes, but I mean, for price, what do you want? You know, you could have decent panniers on you, but it's going to put the price up. So, you know, they're usable, there's not much room in there, they're not very secure, they would be easy to pull open, but you know, just for putting a set of waterproofs in there, your lunch for takeaway, they're ideal, and at the end of the day, that's what this bike's aimed at. I know it looks like an adventure bike, and they sort of market it on the adventure style, but realistically you're only going to use this bike for zooming around town, going in the shops, popping to work. I rode this bike not last year, the year before, all through winter. It's my winter hack, and I was commuting to work on it. I was doing around about 25 to 30 miles a day round journey on it, and it was going through hail, rain, snow, sleet, all the sort off the roads. And as you can see, I'll do a walk around in a little bit where you can have a close up. It's fared really well. I haven't treated it any different than my other bikes. Every time I get in from a run, especially in winter, give it a quick wash off with cold water, just a quick hose down. At the weekends, give it a really good deep clean with soapy water, and it's been treated 3 times a year with ACF, twice in winter, once in summer. And apart from some of the paint flaking off the engine block, rust wise and corrosion wise, it's fared really well, no problems whatsoever. Okay, quick walk around of the bike. It's not the best conditions, I hope you can see this okay. As you can see, if you look on the engine, you can see where the paint has flaked off. Other than that, you know, consider this has been used as a winter hack. There's not a great deal of corrosion on this bike as you would expect for a Chinese bike. I think that it has stood up to the assault of the salt roads and the snow and the hail and everything really well. As I say, we've owned this bike for about 3 years. Admittedly, the last 12 months it hasn't really got used that much. The bike was bought for my wife to do a CBT and learn to ride on when she was doing a test. Again, I'm not sure whether the shock is adjustable. I don't know if I can see. I think it may be adjustable for preload only. Again, I can't really show you the clock actually working. There's no battery on the bike at the moment. as the bike is in storage. And I just want to say I apologise if there's a lot of background noise from the wind. It is a windy day. There's not much I can do about it. Price wise, this bike, I think they come in about 2589 brand new, and with that, as I said, you get the crash bars front and back, you get centre stand, you get side boxes and the top box. And when you think that a Yamaha MT 125, you're most probably talking about £3,900 to £4,000 for one of those bikes. So as you can see, value for money, you just can't beat this bike. You know, I don't think that the Yamaha is that much better of a bike for the amount of money that you're paying for it. Yes, it is a better bike, no doubt, but it's not that much better. You know, there's not a lot in it in my view. The brakes on the bike, plenty. They're not the most, they don't bite, you don't get a lot of feel through the brakes what they're doing, but you know, they give you enough confidence that you're going to stop where and when you want the bike to stop. Fuel wise, the economy being a 125, I don't know what the range on it is. I'm sure we were getting about 120, 130 mile to the tank, but we never run them down to when the light comes on, so I should imagine it's about 150 miles. I'm sure of that, but I'm sure we were getting around 120, 130, and that was even before the fuel light was coming on. You have 1 or 2 bars left. There's not much else to say really about the Sinnis Terrain 125, other than it's a cracking bike for the price. Like I said, if they made a 600 version of this, I would be really tempted to go and have a test ride with a view to buying one, because you know, it just doesn't live up to its expectations, as in everybody expects it to be a really bad bike because it's a Sinnis Terrain and it's a Chinese bike. In actual fact, it's a really good bike, and if you're in the market for a 125, give them a test ride, give them a look, and then just compare them. Like, you know, there are better bikes out there, don't get me wrong. You could buy a KTM Duke 125 or the MT, the Yamaha MT, the Honda have the CB, and you know, they're all really good bikes, but they're all really expensive compared to this bike. And you know, the amount of money that you're paying, are you getting that much of a better bike? I don't think so. So yeah, Sinnis Terrain, for me, a thumbs up. It's a really good bike, it's cheap, it's reliable, the parts last, it's good construction. What else can you say? Anyway, thanks for watching the channel. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Bike Rider out.